Asking the right questions. As a leader, we can become more of a multiplier, meaning get more knowledge and intelligence out of the people around us by making a number of small but simple shifts. One of the most powerful shifts that we can make is shifting out of the mode of having all of the answers and moving into the mode where you ask the right questions, the questions that focus the energy and intelligence of an organization. Now, I made this shift. I began to make this shift myself about a dozen years ago. I am working at Oracle, running the corporate university. I have a pretty big day job, but I also have a pretty big job at home. At the time, I had 3 small children at home, ages 6, 4, and 2. And one day at work, I'm talking to my friend Brian, and I'm just explaining to him, I'm like, Brian, you should see me at home. I'm constantly barking orders at my kids, telling them what to do. I'm a little bit of a dictator. And I said, Brian, truth be told, I think I'm a bossy mom. And my colleague, first of all, he acts shocked. How could this be, Liz? Not you. I said, yes, you should see bedtime at our house. It's, come on, kids, put that away. Get over here. Get your pajamas on. No. Those are inside out. Come on. Now brush your teeth. Go brush your teeth. Okay, in the bathroom. No. Go back. Use toothpaste. Okay, come on. Story time. Get a book. Come on, over here. No, not the big book. The little one. Small story. Over here. Okay, good. Time for prayers. Come on, prayers. Time to pray. Okay, into bed. Go into, not my bed. Get out of my bed. Your bed. Back to bed. Go to sleep. Just go to sleep. And I'm describing for him this scene of chaos. And it wasn't like there was a lot of yelling going on. There was just a lot of telling. Now, Brian said to me, he said, Liz, I want you to try something tonight. I want you to go home and see if you can talk to your children only in the form of questions. No statements, just questions. Now, I think Brian didn't understand. This was just recreational complaining on my part. I wasn't looking for coaching. But I decided to take his challenge. So I went home that night. I said, I'm going to go all the way extreme with this. Not a single statement, just like Brian suggested. And dinner time was interesting, and playtime was interesting. And then we get to bedtime, and I look at my watch. It was about 8:30. I said to my children, well, what time is it? And they said, well, it's bedtime. I said, well, what do we do at bedtime? What's first? And they said, we get our pajamas on. And I said, who needs help? And my 2-year-old needed help. And then I said, once our pajamas on, what do we do? Well, we brush our teeth. Well, who's going to be first? Then what do? We read a story. Well, who's going to pick the story tonight? What book are we going to read? Who's going to read it? And they picked my husband to read it. So that was working out well. And I said, then what do? We pray. And then after we say our prayers, what do? Well, we get into bed. And they went in their beds, and they stayed in their beds. And I'm standing in the hallway by myself with nothing to do, in shock, wondering, what has happened to my children? Wow, I wonder how long they've known how to do this. And something very profound, there was a profound shift that happened to me that evening that changed the way I led. I realized that when I moved out of the mode of telling people what to do and having all the answers and directing, and I started to ask the questions, I found out that my children were brilliant. They knew how to do bedtime. They knew how to do that and a whole lot more. Well, after experimenting at home, I thought, I wonder if my management team knows a whole lot more than I am seeing. And I started to shift and ask the questions and let the people around me find the answers. My orientation shifted. C.K. Prahalad, the incredible business thinker, a long-term mentor of mine, when he saw the multipliers research, he said, Liz, this is an important idea because the critical skill of this century is not what you know. It's how quickly can you access what the people around you know. The fundamental role of leader is shifting. It's shifting from one of telling, of directing, of knowing. And it's moving into one of asking and accessing and harnessing the intelligence of others. But the leaders have to ask the right questions.